Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Yappers Club. Hi, guys. Good morning. It is currently almost 8 o'clock in the morning. And if you ask me, did you fucking sleep? No. No, I didn't actually. I did not sleep. Also, sorry for this angle. Fuck. Um, no, I did not sleep. I did get coffee though. But I did not sleep. И си казах, знаеш какво, и без това трябва да записам нов епизод. И без това не съм спал. Might as well record it, get some coffee, and just wait for the sun to rise. Because the sun is not even... hasn't risen yet. So let's just wait for the sun to rise together. Also, last week's episode, we don't need to comment. I wish, it needed to happen. И много се чудех за какво точно специфично да говоря в на този епизод и си замислих как си към, oh my god, girl, I can just yap because that's literally what my podcast is about. And there are some things that I have been realizing and just like writing down in my little journal. And we're just gonna talk about them. Also, if you haven't subscribed, you should do that. Letting you know. Аз в принцип не обичам да се промотвам или каквото и да е because I feel like it's like embarrassing in a way. But if you like my face and if you enjoy this, leave a like and a comment and maybe subscribe. I'm here for you every week, girl. I have no job. I'm unemployed, so this is my full-time job. I wish they paid me. The first thing that I have realized ever since I came back from my trip and like had to like sit down with my feelings and sit down with myself because a lot of things happened on that trip that I don't want to comment. We've learned, we've matured, we've forgiven, is one thing about that whole situation and about myself in general and about all of us. I feel like, because like that's the best advice I can give to anyone. I feel like that's the best advice you could give to someone that's like really hard on themselves for some reason. And I've always been hard on myself, trust me. So the best advice I can give you for that is give yourself grace. And by that I mean literally that. В смисъл, буквално не може да се виним постоянно за абсолютно всичко, което сме направили. Ever in our whole life. I'm 23, mind you. And I've been blaming myself for shit I've done 5 years ago. 10 years ago. They still keep me up at night. Защото от нищото се сещам, remember when that happened and you did that horrible thing or you said that horrible thing or whatever, you си обидил някой по някакъв начин и съм някакво, fuck, I did do that. Fuck, I'm a terrible person. And it's like, no, girl, you're not a terrible person, first of all. You had your reasons. И се замислих и си казах, всеки път, когато съм реагирал по някакъв негативен начин или лош начин, in a way, I don't know, винаги е било защото някой ме е провокирал. Someone forced me to react like that. I wouldn't react like that just because I like it. Аз няма да те обидя или да те нападна по някакъв начин if you don't challenge me, if you don't force me to do it. Защото аз повечето пъти изпадам забелязвам, че съм изпадал повечето пъти в нападателен режим или защитен режим, когато някой не ме разбира или когато някой не се опитва да ме разбере или не вижда моята гледна точка. И затова аз просто I just blow up and I'm like, okay, so fuck you, this, you fucking piece, That's what happens usually. And I've learned that, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't do that first. And second, if they don't get it, girl, just shut up. I mean, really, what else can you do? Ако някой не ме разбира, should I keep explaining myself to them or should I shut up? And I've learned to stay quiet. Когато някой не ме разбира, не е нужно да говоря. I'm just gonna say, okay, girl, whatever you said. Because there's no point. In my case. So, give yourself grace for things that you've done in the past. Защото аз имаше някои неща, които направих on that trip specifically that, maybe I shouldn't have. But сега се замислим и си казвам, no, of course I would do that. Of course I would say that. Of course I would do that specific thing because you forced me to act like that. So of course I would do that. And I'm not gonna blame myself for doing something because, girl, healing and moving on and letting go is not something that just happens overnight, first of all. Second of all, things like that specifically, or getting healthier or healing or anything, nothing in life is linear, especially healing or moving on from someone or something or letting go of something. It's not something that you can do overnight over like a few little months. Sometimes it takes time. And if you fall back in those fucking patterns, so what? You're a human being, of course you would do that. И аз забелязвам, че супер дълго време се винях за това, че падам пак в тия омагьосани кръгове и пак се връщам назад във времето, връщам се в миналото и стоя там и не мърдам. And it's like, well, obviously I would. It's not like that happens just overnight. I'm never gonna return. I'm never gonna do that again because I'm a human being. And of course I would do things over and over again until I learn my lesson. And why is it so hard for me to just give myself grace and be like, okay, girl, you did it. It's okay. Be less hard on yourself, especially me, because I've noticed that I've been so hard on myself for things like that. And it's like, why should I? Why should I be hard on myself for things that I cannot control? Не мога да ги променя, because they happen already. First of all, that's in the past. I can't change the past. And I can't really control my feelings. I couldn't really control my feelings back then. Не че сега мога, but now at least I'm more articulated in what I want to say and how I feel. So I feel like I've gotten better. You know, I have my moments of crazy, but in general, I feel like I've gotten really good at controlling myself and being in tune with my feelings and my emotions. But even if I did slip up, even if there was a tiny little slip up or a big slip up, who knows? So what? It's not like change, especially change, is not something that happens overnight. Change is not something linear, especially change. Because you cannot change overnight, girl. Sometimes it takes years to change. На някои хора дори не могат да се променят. And it's scary to think that way. But аз вярвам, че всички са склонни към промяна, към по-добро. But, you know, sometimes people can't change. And it's a really harsh lesson to learn. You know, especially people I've known in the past or know now. И виждам как how they go through life and what they do. And I'm like, you're never gonna change. And it's sad. When you care about a certain person so much or certain people so much and you see that they're not changing and they're not growing, it's really sad to look at it. И като знаеш, че не можеш по никакъв начин да помогнеш или да промениш нещо, you just have to let it go and just like hope for the best for them. You know what I mean? И не знам защо седа така. Okay, that's better. Sorry guys, I had to take a quick little sip from my coffee because I'm going insane. Also, on the topic of going insane, can we talk about the 3 planets that are in retrograde right now? 3. Не че знам много за планети и астрология, but there's 3 planets that are in retrograde. 3. I'm going insane. Буквално имам чувство, че наистина поудявам тия дни. And not because something happened. Well, something did happen. A lot of things happened. Like, for the past weeks. But that's not important. Не е заради това. I know that it's not. But I don't know what's going on. I can't really articulate my brain. I don't know what I want to say, what I want to do. I feel drained most of the times. And I feel like weird. I feel weird. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I want to do, what I want to say. И това се чудих реално за какво да говоря на този епизод, because I was like, what do I say, you know? But then I sat down on my ass and decided, you know what, I'm just gonna yap. That's what I'm best at, you know? Also, another thing that I did realize is that maybe, because I did experience heartbreak, like the hardest of heartbreaks ever. And I did realize something, and it is, I love being single. I have never been single in my life. Not never, but even in the times where I haven't been in an actual relationship, I've just been dating casually, you know? And I've never been single, like actually single, and like enjoyed it, because for the most part, for most of my life, I think, просто съм свикнал да имам някой около себе си или да говоря с някой или да общувам с някой, whether it be a friend or like dating someone dating, but you know what I mean? Or in a situationship, which we're not even going to talk about that word because I fucking hate that word. So I don't know what the fuck a situationship is. You're either in a relationship, dating, or you're nothing. But anyways, I've been in those situationships for a long time. Even when I was like single, And now, for the first time ever, I'm not in a relationship. I'm not a situationship. I'm not in. I'm not dating anyone. I'm not talking to anyone, and it's never felt more peaceful. For the first time in my life, I was like, "Wait, so this is what single is? I get to enjoy my time and actually have fun with myself without needing anyone, without needing to talk to someone constantly." Go on a date or even hook up. But hookups are scary for me. Like, that's scary. Like, I will not be. It's safe to say, guys, that I will not be having sex anytime soon. Like, that's triggering for me. So, and also, on the other hand, I'm back to square one. And square one in my case is hating men. And, before someone comes for me, I love everyone. Okay, girls, gays, men, whatever the fuck you are. I love people. If you're a good person, I don't care. But I'm back in that phase where I literally cannot stand men. And maybe it's because of my last relationship, because I am really traumatized since my last relationship. But it's gotten to this point where even if I see a man and he's like attractive, like even a little bit, I'd be like, no, you're a man. You're a man. That says enough. It's like, не знам колко странно е, защото преди също бях в такава фаза, беше 2022, I think, and I was the biggest man hater ever. I was hating on men 24/7. It was my job. Like, I should have gotten paid for it. You know what I mean? And then I was like, you know what? They're not that bad. Girl, they were. They were that bad, girl. They were that bad. Yeah. But that's not to say I hate all men. The only man that I do not hate as of currently is Role Model, the singer. I love him. But other than Role Model, the list is very small. And my cat, obviously, because he's a boy. But at the same time, a boy is also a man. But most men are boys. You're not a man. Like, a man to me is not the man I see. You know what I mean? The man I see are not men. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Man, child. But definitely not men, Also, on another note, being single has made me really glow up. Like, really glow up. And before y'all say, girl, you look like shit, I haven't slept. But if I were to sleep, if I were to wash my hair, if I were to put on a cute outfit, you'd be surprised. You would be surprised. But доста хора са го казвали. Аз това мислих преди, че е буквално шега, защото повечето хора казват, о май гад, след като се отърбеш от токсичните хора в живота си, or your toxic ex, or your ex in general, or you're single and you're thriving, you do tend to glow up. And, I believe it now. Yeah, I believe it because I am glowing up. And for the first time in my life, I'm actually, enjoying myself and enjoying my company. I read. I watch movies every day. I watch movies, which is something that I never fucking do, mind you. I'm not a bitch to watch movies. And I watch movies all night. Last night, I watched literally 3 fucking movies in a row. So, yeah, it's really weird for me. Защото никога не съм свикнал да съм single and thriving. Single and loving it. Single and not ready to mingle. I'm not ready for another relationship, that's for sure. Dating is scary to me. The concept of going out on a date with a man just scares the living crap out of me because, ew, girl, I would rather stay at home. И също съм станал доста интровертен. Ама аз винаги съм бил интровертен, но сега още повече because I enjoy my apartment a little too much. I love it. I love being at my house. I love having a cat and staying at home and not talking to anyone. Or, except my friends. I always have time for my friends. But other than them, I'm not talking to anyone trust. And I don't want to. Помня, че в TikTok ми беше пъкнал някакво видео от сорта на, гледат на карта и си някакво, you're gonna find your significant other in fucking 5 months. And I was like, no, That's not the energy I'm claiming right now. That's not the energy I'm claiming. I don't want that energy. I'm staying away from that energy. I love being single. It is my time to shine. And I also said to myself, I was like, you know what? I've never been able to fully enjoy it. Like actually like enjoy like being single and not talking to anyone and like not dating and not worrying about a man or not thinking about a man or anything like that. I've never been able to fully enjoy it, and now I actually enjoy it. I love it so much. I don't need to be in a relationship to be fulfilled with myself. And it took me a long time to realize that. But guys, you don't need a man to feel good about yourself. Shocker, I know, because men cannot do what you can do. You can do it better than a man. For everything, actually. So, loneliness for me did play a big part in being in a relationship or being in a situationship or dating or whatever you want to call it, or talking to someone or seeing someone. Loneliness did play a big part in that, because I felt like literally so lonely, and I did not think I was going to survive alone, so I always had to talk to someone. I always had to be with someone to fulfill my void of hating myself, because I feel like it comes from insecurity. And for the longest time, I'm insecure about a lot of things. But maybe that's why I wanted to be in a relationship, so I didn't have to think about them. Because when you are in a relationship or when you are talking to someone, it's like exciting. You're like thinking of them. You have a crush on them. You're like, oh my God, we're texting. We might meet. Oh, this is fun. And you're not thinking about your own issues. And you're kind of, in a way, running away from them. And maybe I did spend some time running away from my problems and not really considering my own feelings and not really validating my own feelings. And now that I'm free from the chains of a relationship, it's really nice. It's really freeing, And I feel like, especially your 20s, because I did turn 23 finally. Especially in your 20s, I feel like your 20s are a time for you to go in a relationship, get your heart broken, go heal, be single, have fun, spend time with your friends, explore yourself, validate yourself, learn more about yourself, find yourself, And I feel like I'm living up to that potential of the 20s. Although the partying part, because a lot of people say, oh my God, advice, you're going to have so much fucking fun. You're going to get drunk. You're going to go to parties. You're going to do that. And I'm like, girl, I'm sorry to say, but more party days are over. I mean, I could get a drink. Yes, I could get like a little cocktail or something. But party? Me and a party? No, we don't mix. Me at a public function? No. We don't mix. Especially if it's people my age. Наистина не знам какво е, но хората на моите години или близо до моите години scared the living shit out of me. I don't know why. Like, literally, I don't know why. Yeah, they just scare me. Because it's like, I feel old. I know, guys, I know I'm not old. I bet, I know I'm not old. But it makes me feel so fucking old. Ако излезна с някакви хора, които са горе-долу на моите години или близо на моите години, or they're just like Gen Z in general. And it's like, girl, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're saying. So, for me, parties, not a thing. But like, your 20s are the best and worst years of your life, I think. And we should enjoy both. I think I've realized that, okay, a lot of shit happened. A lot of shit happened this year and last year too. But still, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be so confident in myself right now. I wouldn't be so at peace with myself. I wouldn't be validating myself so much. I wouldn't be giving myself so much grace. I wouldn't be forgiving myself, if that thing or those things didn't happen to me. So give yourself grace. I'm saying it again, literally, because you cannot change the past. You can't change what you did or what you said. Sometimes you can't even apologize to the person, and that's completely fine. If you want to apologize to them so badly, try it, girl, but it's not going to help you. Trust me, I've tried it. And also, stop wasting your time blaming yourself over things you couldn't control. So you reacted badly. So you said a few mean words. So what? Това, което си направил, не те определя като човек. Нещата, които си казал, които си направил in a state of, emotional, like, trauma or trauma response or някакъв защитен механизъм или каквото и да е, това не те определя като човек. You did it because you were forced to do it. You did it because you were attacked in some way. You felt attacked. You had to protect yourself, so you did it. And it's like, whoa. That concept has always been crazy to me because I always thought I was the villain. Винаги съм смятал, че аз съм виновен за абсолютно всичко, което ми се случи в живота. Или ако съм наранявал някой и той ме наранявал обратно. If someone did hurt me, which they did, shocker, аз винаги съм се винял за това, че са ме наранявали, защото съм някакво, okay, they hurt me because I deserved it. They hurt me because I did something to hurt them. So they decided to hurt me even more. And it's like, that's not fucking true. Well, maybe sometimes. But in my case, I know now that it wasn't. I know now, even if I said some hurtful things, even if I did something mean or something bad, I know why I did it. And I know my intentions behind it. They weren't to attack that person. They weren't to hurt that person or do something bad to that person or in that situation. They were just because I was trying so hard to protect myself and survive and help them or whatever it is see my point of view and see the situation from my eyes. And realizing it now makes me feel so peaceful, makes me feel calmer that I was not the villain. I was not the bad person. I was not the bad guy. And for a long time, I did think I was the bad guy. For a long, long, long time, I thought I was the bad guy, but not anymore. Because I've accepted myself. I have given myself grace and I keep giving myself grace, and also I have forgiven myself and validated myself. And I don't hold anger anymore. Защото, да, на миналия епизод говоря как, нали, е окей да държиш някакъв гняв за някакво време, but I've let go of that anger. I don't even care about apologies or because if you haven't listened to the last episode, I did talk about someone that did hurt me, and that someone was my ex. I can say it now. I can finally say it. That person was my ex, and he did hurt me a lot. That motherfucker did really took me out for a spin, and knocked me to the fucking ground 50 fucking times. But for a long time, I was so mad and so confused and so lost. And then I had a moment of like, oh my God, he did it because he doesn't like himself. He did it because maybe he hates his life or himself, or he's maybe projecting something onto me. And I did not want to admit it because I've always seen that person as someone who's better, who's a good person. But sometimes people, even if you are a good person, you tend to lose yourself when you hate yourself so much, when you're so hard on yourself, and when you're not giving yourself grace, when you're not validating your feelings. That's what happens. You hurt the people that you love the most. And for a long time, I was so mad about that. And I realized that it doesn't matter. Защото този гняв, който държа, няма да ми помогне, няма да промени ситуацията, няма по някакъв начин да го накара този човек да се замисли, няма по някакъв начин да го накара този човек да ми се извини. Although apologies and closure mean nothing to me anymore. Like, особено в повечето ситуации всички заслужаваме извинение or closure. But the closure is, as the bitches on TikTok say, the closure is what they did to you. The closure is how they act towards you now. That's the closure that you need. The apology, non-existent. And sometimes you don't even need an apology. You can apologize to yourself, and that would be 10 times better, trust me. Trust me, 10 times better than waiting for that apology, searching for that closure, telling them, oh, you did this to me, how dare you. Like, it's not gonna do shit, girl. Because trust me, I spent a lot of time doing that. And that didn't work. Also, on the topic of holding anger and holding resentment and letting go of that resentment and letting go of that anger, it's really difficult to do that. But I find that when you do let go of anger towards anyone, не е нужно да е твой бивш приятел или каквото, връзка или каквото и да е. Just like if you have anger in your heart about a certain situation, it's useless to hold it, because it doesn't make you feel better. It's not going to help you go through life easier, because if you move with anger, you're never going to get anywhere. And it's really sad to think that some people do move only with anger. Има хора, които се движат с гняв не толкова към света, колкото към себе си. Because повечето хора, които са ядосани на света, ядосани и казват всичките хора са лоши, защо на мен ми се случва това, мразя си живота, мразя света, мразя хората, защото постоянно така. And that comes from within. Защото живота по принцип не е толкова гаден. It is. It is life, you know? Like, life could be really bad or really good. It's just the way of life, you know? It could be really bad at one point and really good at the other. So it's just the wheel of fortune, girl. Like, whatever happens. But if you spend all this time blaming the world and blaming other people and blaming and putting the blame on everything else but yourself, you're never gonna be satisfied. И аз затова съм спрял вече да виня хора или света за това, че ми се случват някакви неща, или ако се чувствам по някакъв начин зле, няма да си казвам, защото и аз бях от хората, които си казваха: о, мага, сега това лошо нещо ми се случва, мразя света, защо трябва на мен ми се случва, аз съм толкова добър човек, така и така. Maybe because I had to fucking learn to love myself. Maybe because I had to fucking learn how to validate my feelings. You know what I mean? And that was a lesson. Not everything in your life is a lesson, but when things like that happen, just tell yourself, like, that was a lesson, and I did learn the lesson, and now I'm finally ready to forgive myself, give myself a little bit of grace. A little bit of grace goes a long way, and validate myself. So, if you manage to do all these 3 things, or even one, trust me, guys, you will feel a little bit peaceful. И знам, че се повтарям постоянно за тия неща, but it's really weird. And also, let's go back to the topic of being single, because I just realized something. Being single means you have so many options. And by so many options, you get to date anyone you want. I mean, not anyone, but зависи какъв single си. Because if you're like me and you are single, and if you relate to what I'm saying, oh girl, I cannot date anyone right now. Literally. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to date for a long time, because I would rather be by myself, you know? И може би идва от страх при мен, понеже последната ми връзка доста ме травмира и доста неща се случиха, и може би при мен идва повече от страх за това, че мага сега, ако влезна в нова връзка или ако се запозная с някой и го харесам, то човек може пак да ме нарани, and I don't want to get hurt again, I don't want to go through that again, and it's more so that I'm like protecting myself rather than, you know, not wanting it, because everyone wants to date, everyone wants to be in a relationship. Кой не би искал да отиде на среща, to dress up and like feel cute and then like feel pretty and go on a date. But for me, it's a little bit difficult, especially going into dating again. Just dating in general for me has always been really weird, because the people I've dated, in my case, guys, the people I've dated were people that weren't really good for me. And I think it's safe to say that. They weren't really good for me. Maybe I wasn't really good for them as well. I would always end up in really toxic situations, and I couldn't get out of them because I liked it. I liked fighting. I didn't enjoy it. It's not to say I loved fighting, but I thrived in the chaos. Because when you've known chaos for so long, you can't really escape it, you know? It becomes your normal thing. It becomes your comfort zone, you know? И комфортната зона за мен беше хаос. За мен беше скандали. За мен беше toxicity. Because that's all I've known. So I was fine with it. Because I was like, I'm used to this, you know? I can cry all night and scream all day. But I'm used to it because that's all I've known in relationships. I've never known like a good, healthy relationship. And maybe that's a me problem, for sure. I have to work on my attachment styles and my issues. Yes, I'm not blaming every fucking ex that I've had, because I have my issues too. I've made mistakes in relationships. I have done terrible things in relationships. I have said terrible things in relationships. But the difference with me is that I actually learned from those issues and those mistakes, and I tried my best to apologize, to make things better, to make things right. But it never seemed to work because that other person didn't want the same. Also, I watched a movie recently. E няма да кажа кой филма. Because if I told you what the movie is, you would think I'm fucking embarrassing and cringe. So I'm not gonna say the name. But there was a scene in the movie. It was a rom-com, which usually rom-coms are not my thing. I stay away from rom-coms because they're cringy to me. But you know what? I'm maturing, so I'm like, you know what? Let's have a go. Let's see if it's cute. And in the scene, this girl is talking to this guy that, they're kind of in love, but like not really, but like whatever. And he asks her, буквално я пита, защо скъса с миналия си приятел? And she told him everything was perfect. He was the one. But the only issue was we never fought. And I was like, you broke up with your boyfriend because you never fought. И по принцип се замислих и си казах, добре, повечето хора, особено в TikTok, защото буквално мразя TikTok точно заради тази причина, защото дава такива съвети, които буквално не ти помагат по никакъв начин. I'm sorry, but if you take your advice from TikTok, girl, like, sometimes you get good advice, but you really have to think about it. В смисъл, можеш да вземеш този съвет, който ти дава от TikTok and like reprocess it in your brain and then like actually see if it's good for you or not. But anyways, I digress. Когато се караш във връзка fighting in relationships is healthy. That's what I've heard people say. If you fight in your relationship, that means the relationship is strong and it's healthy. По принцип съм съгласен. Hear me out. I do agree that if you fight from time to time, you tend to grow together. You tend to change and mature and get closer to each other, which is really cool and really beautiful actually. And in friendships too. В смисъл, ако се карате с най-добрите си приятели от време на време, ама някакви сериозни караници или някакви малки depends, that just brings you closer, which is beautiful. That's happened to me as well. And it does bring you closer. Но когато не се карате изобщо, and everything's chill, everything's nice, everything's cool, everything's just peaceful, wouldn't you want that? И аз се замислих и си казах, добре, защо сме толкова свикнали да има напрежение в отношенията ни? Защо сме свикнали всеки път, като се караме да сме някакво, не, ма това е добре, защото нали, сега след като се скараме, ще се сдобрим, ще изговорим нещата и ще се разберем по-добре, which is not wrong, that's not wrong, but if you know each other so well и се разбирате толкова добре, до такава степен, че да няма скандали, why would you want to break up? You know what I mean? Because like, to me, a relationship is something that should feel peaceful. It's something that should feel comforting. Not fighting. Not constantly like thinking about when are you gonna fight? Why are you fighting? What am I gonna say? Why is he doing this? Why is she saying that? You know, it's this constant anxiety that you have in a relationship like that. Защо е нужно да се караме във връзка, за да може тази връзка да е healthy? It's just so weird to me. Защото всички вече са изкривили до такава степен представата за здравословна връзка, че е вече притеснително. It's like, if he doesn't do this, if she says this, if that, it's like, what are we doing? Не, аз скъсах с моето гадже от 5 години, защото въобще не се карахме за нищо, никога и се разбирахме перфектно. Why did you break up then? I just don't seem to get that concept of ние въобще не сме се карали никога в нашата връзка и мисля, че това е проблема ни, защото никога не сме се карали, затова може би трябва да скъсаме, защото не се караме за нищо. Isn't that supposed to be a good thing? I thought that was supposed to be a good, healthy thing, not a bad thing. Why is that a bad thing? Certainly, we have to fight in order to keep the relationship going. That's how I see it. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's normal to have, arguments in a relationship, and they do help you get closer to each other. Но когато го няма този аспект, is the relationship bad? Because the answer to me, in my opinion, is fuck no. Аз ако съм във връзка и се разбирам с този човек до такава степен, че никога да не се караме, why would I want to break up? Or, there is the other thing. The other thing is that bitches say, ами ние вече ходим 2 години или 3 години и се познаваме до такава степен, че вече е скучно. It is completely normal to feel bored in a relationship, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good one. Why do you bitches feel the need to leave a relationship when it gets boring? Because it's not exciting anymore. Because there's nothing to find out anymore. Because you're actually living with that person. You know everything about that person. And it's not fun anymore. You're not finding out new things about them anymore. And you have to leave because it's boring to you. Аз никога не съм го разбирал това нещо. И съм имал проблем с това в отношения, които съм имал с хора, or relationships for that matter. It's like, oh, I have to leave because I have to focus on myself, but at the same time, I'm gonna date other people. It's like, и това също. I've always loved that saying. Да, ние се разделихме, защото просто искаме да се фокусираме един на друг отделно and then watch them go date other people in the second they break up. And it's like, girl, like, никога не съм го разбирал това нещо. В смисъл, ако наистина има хора, които се разделят просто защото единият човек или двамата трябва да се фокусират на себе си, защото не могат да се фокусират на връзката, I get it. But for you to break up and immediately go date someone else, that's crazy to me. Или това също не съм го разбирал. The idea of, oh, like, we broke up like a week ago, but I'm dating someone else already, and they're perfect for me. Did you not even have time to, like, process the relationship? Но такива хора по принцип са странни. В смисъл, аз не съм разбирал това от сорта на, о, да, те скъсаха с мен и вече ходят с някой друг. Let them, girl. You're safe. Trust me, you're safe. Because I have been in that situation. Not me. Because I would never date someone just in a week. Like, that's happened before, yes. I have dated people in the span of like a week. But that's different. It was a different time. I was young, guys. But for me to date someone, I have to, like, actually be in love with you. Like, actually be in love with you. I cannot just date just to date. You know, I cannot just be in a situationship and see if it works out and try it out and see what happens. I'm not that kind of person. For me, being in a relationship means I have you, you have me, we're in it together. And now, I don't feel like I need to be in that to be fulfilled with myself and be happy with myself, because I've always searched for someone to fill my void and make me feel better about myself and make me feel less alone and less lonely, when in reality, I can do that for myself. And it took me a long time to realize that, защото аз съм човек, който винаги е стръгал с това нещо of not being enough, or trying so hard to be liked by people and trying so hard to be accepted by other people and validated by other people, that I kind of just, like, put myself so low on the pedestal, when in reality I should be up here. И от време на време се случва да слагам пак хора над мен, но I'm working on that as well. So another tip is, guys, слагайте се на първо място винаги. You can never be too selfish. I mean, you can. There is also narcissism, but I'm not a narcissist. Thank God I'm not. Guys, I did not notice that the lighting was shit, because the sun is out. Дори не забелязах, че I was literally in heaven for, like, I don't know how many fucking I don't know how many minutes I was in heaven, but I'm back. And I forgot what the fuck I was saying, you know? Oh yeah, I was saying that I'm really comfortable in being single and I'm enjoying my single life, and I don't feel the need to be with someone just to fill my void, because my void has been filled by me and the friends I have, and friendship is better than relationship to me as of right now. You know, you could always be dating. You can always have someone to date and be with someone and have fun with someone and, you know, be in a situationship if you want to do that. But Also, it's also really fun to spend time by yourself and just be single and not ready to mingle. And that's gonna be the title of this episode: single, not ready to mingle, bitch, because I'm fucking not. Um. So yeah, I don't know what this episode was, but it is the Yappers Club, so we just yap about bullshit, and the sun is out. So I think it is time to end this one, guys. I will be going to sleep because I haven't slept. This episode was really like my ADHD was did a number on me. It really did a number on me, girls. But I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you find peace within yourself to really just like learn to live with yourself and accept who you are and give yourself grace for the things that you did. Because if you give yourself grace and you forgive yourself and you actually heal yourself from the things you did, you would feel so much better. И всички хора могат да се променят. You are capable of change. But that change is not something that happens overnight. It's not something that happens like that, you know? And even if you fall back into old habits, don't blame yourself for that because it's completely fucking normal to do that. And just give yourself more grace and more time too. And be around, only surround yourself with people that truly understand you and are there for you any second of any day. And yeah, I hope you stay safe. I hope you eat good food, drink water, tell everyone in your life that you love them, subscribe, like this video, comment if you want, and I will see you on the next one. Okay? Bye, guys.